welcome to this explainer. Today we're looking at the United States credit system. And honestly, it really helps to think of it not just as some boring financial structure, but as a high-stakes game. It's a game that millions of people play every single day. But the crazy part is, very few are actually taught the rules. And that's mostly because banks profit massively when you don't know how to play. If you go in blind, you're going to lose money, period. But we're going to change that dynamic right now. Over the next few minutes, you're going to learn exactly how to navigate this incredibly confusing system, avoid the traps that are literally designed to keep you in debt, and ultimately, how to win. Think about this quote for a second. It perfectly captures the absolute extremes of the US credit system. Getting your hands on that first piece of plastic, it's a major milestone. But it is a massive double-edged sword. On one side, you unlock incredible financial power, securing a rock-solid foundation for your future. But on the other side is a pretty terrifying reality. Making rookie mistakes, like say putting a late-night pizza on plastic and just kind of forgetting to pay the bill a few weeks later, that can completely destroy your credit score before you even fully grasp how the system works. It takes years to build a great score, but literally only one missed payment to ruin it. To keep you on the winning side, think of this explainer as your definitive survival manual. Here is our roadmap. 1. The US credit game. 2. Choosing your first card. 3. Rules and rookie mistakes. And 4. The 700-plus score roadmap. Section 1. The US credit game. How it works. Okay, let's dive into this. To win the game, we first have to understand the fundamental mechanics of how credit actually operates in the US. Before you even apply for a card, we need to redefine what it actually is. A credit card is simply a short-term loan. Okay? It is not free money, and it's definitely not some magical extension of your paycheck. When a bank gives you a $1,000 credit limit, you are borrowing their money. Try to think of this limit as a trust meter. They're trusting you with $1,000 of their capital. You spend their money during the month, and at the end of the month, the bill comes due. You have to pay it back. And if you don't pay them back in full, well, you get hit with this staggering number, 20 to 30%. That's the typical annual percentage rate, or APR, on a modern credit card. If you only pay the minimum amount due on your statement, the remaining balance immediately starts collecting interest. That means a $50 pair of shoes could end up costing you hundreds of dollars over time just because the interest compounds. It is absolutely the fastest way to start losing the game. And honestly, it's exactly how credit card companies make their billions. So how do they actually keep score? Well, most credit scores in the US range from 300 to 850, and they scale from poor all the way up to excellent. Every single time you interact with credit, this 3-digit number shifts. As a beginner starting out with a totally blank slate, your ultimate target is to cross over into that good tier and hit a score of at least 700. Getting into the 700s basically shouts to the entire financial world that you are a reliable, trustworthy person who handles their money responsibly. But why does this seemingly arbitrary number matter so much? Because in America, your entire financial future is directly tied to it. Your credit score dictates almost every major life event. You want to run a nice apartment? The landlord's going to check your score. Trying to buy a car or eventually get a mortgage? Your score determines not just if you get approved, but what interest rate you'll be punished or rewarded with. It can even be the deciding factor in passing a background check for a job. Seriously, your future boss might actually care about your credit history. A 700 score isn't just a vanity metric. It is literally the master key to unlocking your adult life. Section 2. Choosing your first card, your equipment. Choosing your first card is exactly like picking your starting gear in a video game. You need the right tools tailored to your specific situation. So here are your 5 non-negotiable requirements when picking that first card. First, absolutely no annual fee. Seriously, refuse to pay a bank just to hold their plastic in your wallet. Second, ensure it has easy approval, specifically designed for people with limited credit history. Third, seek out cashback rewards so you actually get paid a percentage back on the things you buy every day. Fourth, and this is absolutely crucial, it must report to all 3 major credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. If it doesn't report to them, your score isn't going to build. And finally, if you have to go the secured route, look for a low security deposit requirement. Let's look at 2 incredible starting pieces. The Discover It Student Cashback is a phenomenal choice if you're in college. It offers rotating 5% cash back with no annual fee, and it actually rewards you for getting good grades. How cool is that? But what if you have 0 credit, you aren't a student, and banks just keep rejecting you? Enter the Capital One Platinum Secured. With a secured card, you give the bank a refundable deposit, let's say $200, and that exact amount becomes your credit limit. It forces the bank to trust you because they literally already hold your cash. It's a great way to safely build your score from scratch. Now, you aren't limited to just those 2. The Chase Freedom Rise is perfect for getting your foot in the door with a massive institution, which really paves the way for premium travel cards later on. Then there's the Discover It Secured. This is an incredibly rare find because it actually gives you cash back on a secured line of credit, which almost no other secured card does. And hey, if you hate tracking spending categories, the Capital One Quicksilver Student offers a simple, flat 1.5% cash back on absolutely everything you buy. The point is, choose the tool that best fits your reality and your spending habits. Section 3. Rules and Rookie Mistakes, How to Survive. Now, getting approved is an exciting moment, but getting the card is actually the easy part. Playing by the strict rules of the game is what guarantees your survival. Listen to me carefully here. Rule number 1 is absolute. Never, ever miss a payment. A single late payment can cause massive, lasting damage to your fragile new score. And get this, it stays on your credit report for up to 7 years. Think about that. One silly mistake today haunting you for nearly a decade? No way. Your absolute best defense mechanism against this is automation. The exact moment your new card arrives in the mail, open the banking app on your phone and turn on autopay for the full statement balance. Do not rely on your memory. Now, what's really interesting here is one of the biggest, best-kept secrets in U.S. credit scoring: credit utilization. This metric basically measures how much of your total limit you're actually using at any given time. So if you have a $1,000 limit and you spend $300, your utilization is 30%. The secret? Crossing that 30% threshold makes you look desperate for cash. The banks get spooked and they will literally drop your score. Keep your utilization well under 30%. And ideally, if you really want to maximize your score, keep it under 10%. Which brings us to the ultimate trap. If you pay your full balance every month, you pay zero interest and you rapidly build your score. You get the rewards, you build the trust, you win. But if you choose to pay only the minimum, you trigger those nasty 20 to 25% APRs. Paying the minimum is the bank's favorite trick to bury you in a pit of compound interest for years. It creates this dangerous illusion of affordability while quietly draining your bank account. Always, always pay the full statement balance. Beyond carrying a balance, there are a few other traps that consistently destroy beginner scores. Maxing out your card completely ruins that utilization metric we just talked about. Treating a credit limit like free extra income, that leads straight into a debt spiral. And you really got to be aware of these last two. Closing your oldest card actually hurts your score because the length of your credit history matters deeply to lenders. And applying for too many cards at once generates what are called hard inquiries. These are formal background checks that make you look desperate for credit and will temporarily drag your score down. Okay, if you find all these rules overwhelming, just remember this one golden sentence. Treat your credit card exactly like a debit card. That's it. Only spend the money that is currently sitting in your checking account right now. If you don't have the cash to buy it today, you do not swipe the credit card. If you just follow this single rule, you literally cannot lose the game. Section 4. The 700+ Score Roadmap. Winning the game. Let's move to the final step and see how all this builds into a foolproof blueprint for hitting that 700 score. All right, here is your incredibly satisfying victory path for year 1. Month 1, get your beginner card, immediately set up autopay, and put one small recurring charge on it, something like a Spotify or Netflix subscription. Then, honestly, put the card in a drawer. Months 2 and 3, practice keeping that utilization well under 30% and paying the full balance every single time. By months 4 through 6, your job is simply to let automation work. It's a set it and forget it period, where you just sit back and watch your score climb through disciplined consistency. Finally, between 6 and 12 months, you'll have built enough solid trust to ask the bank for a credit limit increase. Or, hey, maybe even apply for a second card to expand your financial toolkit. So, the crucial takeaway of this entire explainer really comes down to this core philosophy. Your ultimate goal with a credit card is actually not to borrow money. The true goal is to prove you are highly responsible so you can build trust with the financial system. Staying disciplined right now means your future self is going to be incredibly thankful when you go to secure a great rate on a car or land that dream apartment without paying massive security deposits. You now have the rulebook, the equipment list, and the exact roadmap to win the U.S. credit game. The only thing left to do is make your opening move. So take a look at the options we discussed today and ask yourself, which beginner credit card are you getting to start your journey? Thanks so much for watching this explainer. Stay focused, and I'll see you next time.